What is up with it? Today we are back for another blue Doflamingo mirror match. This blue Doflamingo is going to be a 5.2 billion bounty, roughly somewhere around there at the time of recording. This blue Doflamingo, I don't know exactly, the sim has hidden the history, but I'm guessing probably was somewhere around the 3-4 billion. Hard to say for sure. Looks like this blue Doflamingo won the rock, paper, scissors and chose to go second, thinking about keeping or mulliganing this hand. It does have Perona, which is really nice. The Weevil could be good if in the top 5 we see a Jinbei. But overall, we're not seeing any Jinbeis or Laws or Teach, which are going to be probably the 3 most important cards in this matchup, especially going second. So I definitely would like to see a mulligan here. But they choose to keep. Okay. Willing to bet that the Perona is going to find what it needs to. I don't hate the keep at all. But me personally, I think I would have gone with maybe a mulligan. Maybe it's a little greedy to mulligan here. I mean, the Perona is very strong, even going second, because a lot of the time on one Dawn, you're going to expect them to play Perona or Buggy. And then on 3 Dawn, they'll have a rested character like a Weevil, and that will just allow you to swing 8 at it. Okay, so we have the Teach, we have the Jinbei, and we have the Weevil. So we kind of get to decide if on 4 we want to play Teach, or if we don't want to play Teach and we just want to be leader affecting. The pros and cons to each is that if we just raw leader effect, we're going to have a lot more cards in hand. Because when you play the Teach, you're both playing the Teach from hand and you're playing the card from your hand off the top of your deck. Whereas if you just leader effect, you're not using any cards from your hand. So you're essentially saving 2 cards. However, the benefit to playing the Teach is that we'll get to continuously reuse it and play more characters throughout the course of the game, theoretically. And specifically in this hand, it's going to allow us to play Jozu on 8 while still leader affecting. Which the Jozu seems a bit more important here than it might normally, simply because we don't have a law. Okay, so it looks like they went Jinbei Boa. Definitely a strong start. Have to imagine we're going to take this 8. Countering this would be pretty troll in my opinion. Also, this is the very first video being recorded with a new audio setup. So please let me know if they sound any better, if there's still ways that the sound could be improved. Definitely looking for feedback on that. So yep, we took, and then we are grabbing the Teach. Have to imagine we're swinging 8 into the Jinbei. Just trying to control board a little bit. The other player is now going into 5 Dawn. I have to imagine that they're going to ignore this Weevil with their swings and just go straight for life. Yep. So they do know the top of their deck. So the next swing will probably be 8. So I think we should probably counter 7 here with the Buggy and the Pudding. Looks like we elected to take. I have to imagine. Oh, okay. So they did go 7 again. So never punished. I would want to counter with the Pudding here, just because we know we have a couple more coming. Okay, playing this in Goku. Grabbing a Mihawk of their own. So now this is a bit of an awkward turn for this Doflamingo player, in my opinion. I don't hate using the Croc to bounce our own Perona. But the real issue is that we can't really remove any of their board, which is a little bit annoying. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and bounce that Perona. We'll stack the Weevil. This way we only have... there's no way we can swing into the 6s. We know they have a 2k in hand. We just have to put them down to 3 life here. Or they're going to give us 2 cards, which is also perfectly fine. They probably wanted to give us 2 cards to play around pudding. And we don't really care if we get the 2 cards now or later, to be honest. There's going to be plenty of 7 swings throughout this game. We were going to get those 2 cards from his hand at some point. So now we're going into 7. We could see a gravity blade here. We could see another boa. We could see a 4-drop in leader effect. If I'm this Doflamingo at the top, I would personally be looking for a law here. A law plus a teach would be nice on this turn. Really thinking about what they want to do here. I'm not a huge fan of Gravity Blade in this exact spot, just because you'll be using your whole turn to do it, but it's not bad. So swinging with 6, to me this means that they're either, well, we'll really know based on their next swing. Okay, so this probably means they're not playing boa in leader effecting. So they're either going to play a 4 in leader effect, or they're going to Gravity Blade, would be my guess. Or I suppose they could play a Jozu and then play a 1-drop. That's definitely possible too. They could like Jozu, bounce their Sengoku, replay Sengoku. That would feel, I would think, a little weak on this turn, but it's definitely possible. Okay, so we take this second 6 just because we don't have a 2K. Honestly, when they take that 6, it should be kind of telegraphing their hand a bit. So honestly, especially when they take that 6, I'm thinking even less I like the Gravity Blade personally. Let me know if anyone disagrees. Okay, really looking for a bounce law here. Did not find it. I think I would like to pick up the Gecko Moira here, just to guarantee we get a 2K back to hand. Like the Weevil draw could be really strong, but it also could just not get us anything. Okay, we get a poke for some 5s here. See what they give us. It's possible if they counter both of these 5s, especially if they give us the Mihawk counter that we know is in their hand. Oh, they took. That is a very surprising take, honestly. I wonder what inspired them to do that. And another thing about using that Gravity Blade is that now you don't have it for when I play this Jozu. I mean, it's possible they have 2. Choosing to bounce the Weevil rather than the Boa, I think that makes a lot of sense. Weevil in hand is a pretty weak card. Weevil you really want to be playing, almost exclusively off Jinbei, Teach, or the top of deck with leader effect. Just hard casting it for 4 Dawn is not ideal. And to our knowledge, he currently does not have a Jinbei. It wouldn't be surprising if he has one now. He has drawn 3 cards since his last turn. I forget what he grabbed off the Sengoku, so it's possible he even grabbed one off the Sengoku. At this point, he has a lot of options. Definitely either player's game at this point. Shockingly, no one has found a bounce law yet, to my knowledge. On 9 Dawn, you'd like to see a double boa. Would be pretty strong here. Another reason to bounce the Weevil rather than the... Oh, sorry. Just added in a little bit. Just check that real quick. Another reason to bounce the Weevil rather than the boa is that if they have a second boa in their hand, it becomes really strong on this turn in particular, the 9 Dawn turn. So definitely like bouncing the Weevil there rather than the Boa. Even though the Boa is a blocker, at the end of the day, it's pretty rare that they're going to actually be using it as a blocker this next turn. So it's just the same 4 cost, 6,000 power vanilla on board. Looks like I was watching a little bit of Kai. Great YouTuber. Love his content. Starting with a 7, 8 Dawn remaining. We could see double 4s here. We could see a 4 and a Perona. Looks like we decided to counter with the second Teach. I don't hate that. There are some cool plays you can do when you have 2 Teaches, though. So we're kind of forgoing those. Let's see what they do with the remaining 8 Dawn. Could definitely be a 4 and a Perona into leader effect. Could be... The timer between the 2 players, honestly, is not that different, but I don't know. Maybe it's my own bias, but I feel like this other player is taking a bit to make their actions, in my opinion. Which is fine. They have plenty of time. They have 10 more minutes where we are here to test, so it's best to think of the best lines you can. In tournament, you definitely want to be playing at a reasonable pace. On the sim, take as long as you need. We are here to practice. Okay, yeah, hard casting the Weevil, that feels super weak. Playing the Teach, I imagine that means we're swinging 8. Getting the Teach on board will be definitely strong for their next turn. Let's see what they do. Okay, swinging at the Gecko, playing a second Weevil. So yeah, this is a turn where if we drew Law here, I mean the Gravity Blade is not bad. The Gravity Blade is definitely not bad. But if we find Law, I think we just basically win the game. And we do not find it. We instead find a Boa. Which is not ideal, but not the worst thing in the world. We're still going to get to tax quite a few cards out of their hand. We're going to get to clear at least 2 bodies with the Gravity Blade. We are really low on cards in hand ourselves. So it's possible that we're going to have to swing over one of these 6Ks, or we'll just die. It is possible. They might not go for it. But honestly, they really could. Okay, so yep, we did try to get a couple cards out of hand. And now we're swinging 8. We'll see if this gets a couple more cards out of hand. Hopefully they let it die. I imagine they won't. Okay, we are going to get to swing 8 at it again, though, because we do have the Boa. And there's that Law. Could put the Law as the second card, or you could put it as the first card. I think I probably would have liked drawing the Gravity Blade, and then having the Law as the second card, but yeah, so counters there. Huge percentage of the time here, we just die. Even if they just start with a 6 from Weevil, right? We're gonna really need to see at least one 2K out of life. You honestly, you're really hoping they start with a 7 from the Weevil. The 6 here would just be crushing. This Sengoku and Teach just having those bodies on board. Looks like they're just thinking about the numbers that they should do. Let me know in the comments what numbers you think are best. Clearly, based on the cards in hand, we know that 6 is the best number to start with. Um, However, that doesn't mean that it's always best. Maybe 7 is the best one to start with. I honestly lean towards 6 is the best start, even without knowing hand. But I could be wrong about that. Maybe 7 is best. Because if they do just give you a 2K, you're in a really awkward spot where you probably have to go 6 again. And then you have to go 7, 7. Okay, so now we're looking at 8, 9. Oh, he has the perfume. Yeah, so we're just dead. Doesn't even matter what our life is. The perfume here, just to get that extra 2K, is super strong. Yeah, this was a great game. Would love to know if you think there were any misplays from this side. Um, to me, it feels like just a tale of we saw some really great cards, but we didn't see law. And when you're going second in the mirror, if the player going first is able to keep up the aggression the way that they did, um, a lot of the times you're gonna die, right? Um, Going second, I think you really have to play a little bit more of a control game a lot of the time. And outside of the Jozu and then the Gravity Blade, we weren't really able to do that very much. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.